Hi, my name is Ashley, and today I will be going over my synthesis presentation. So let's get started. So here we have my concept map, which I designed it as a tree. As a tree grows up, that's how I pictured it. Um, it helped me organize these terms together. Um, it starts with human rights as the foundation, and then it goes to resilience, risk, vulnerability, and then from there we go to common, public good, risk management, public goods, and then we go to social justice and social protection as the end goal that we are trying to achieve as a society. The first term I will be discussing is human rights. To me, human rights is the basic rights and freedoms that belong to all human beings, regardless of religion, gender, or race. As Professor Warner had mentioned in his lecture, that helped me understand human rights better and on why I decided to place it as my foundation in my concept map were how these rights we are entitled to just by the nature of being born a human being. And that's why I placed human rights as the foundation on my concept map, as I mentioned, because I believe that we are all entitled to have these basic human rights in order for us to achieve, like for me, was my social justice or social protection. Vulnerability is actually defined as the propensity or predisposition to be adversely affected. According to the reading Resilience, a Risk Management Approach by Dr. Tom Mitchell and Katie Harris. But from my understanding, it's being exposed to the possibility of being harmed either physically or emotionally. As we know, there are certain populations that are more vulnerable than others that have more of an economical disadvantage. For example, the non-poor household is highly most likely to fall below poverty line. And for the ones who are currently poor will probably fall deeper into poverty, which are results of a very complex economic demands. This is why I connected vulnerability to risk management in my concept map, because we want to be able to prevent people who are already vulnerable be less vulnerable in our society. The next term is resilience, which is how we can recover from certain harsh situations. It's also the ability or anticipation from certain shocks and stresses. From my understanding, it's more of a process rather than an outcome. It's about managing change and thriving, but it also just means that we can better withstand certain environmental, political, economic, and social shocks and stresses. Risk is something we all humans face on an everyday basis. We're all exposed to some kind of harm or loss that could happen to us. Risk and risk management, I feel like, go hand in hand, because without risk management, there wouldn't be much of a support system. Risk management is what helps people prevent or prepare them from taking risk. There's also some factors that we should be determining in order to minimize or avoid the impact when it comes to risk. Risk comes in many factors. There are natural disasters, damage, fire, floods, even unexpected financial loss. Risk management is usually defined as a public measure that provides, security for individuals and their households. It really consists of public intervention that assist individuals and their household and their communities better manage risk. And the three most important strategies when it comes to risk management is, the prevention strategy, which is basically, reducing the risk, measuring the risk, and then the mitigation, which is, reducing the impact. And then we also have the last strategy, which is the coping strategy, which is basically, relieving the impact. The next term we have is public goods, which is something that we can hold, something that is tangible, as Professor Warnett had mentioned during the lecture, and it's available for everyone to consume. Some of the examples of public goods are, fresh air, national defense, light posts that we have in our streets, roads, and then public goods are also both non-excludable and non-rivalrous, which means it's no one can be excluded from consuming the good, or one person's consumption doesn't reduce the other people's opportunity for consuming. Common good. It's the benefit or interest of all. It's important because it plays a major role in the public and private aspect in our social life. It's something that we all contribute as a common good by paying our taxes, which provides funds for public education and other services. Common good is the social and political changes that benefit everyone, basically. Social protection is the concern with protecting and helping those who are poor and vulnerable. It reduces the vulnerability by providing interventions, programs that will better manage risk. For example, the Social Security is a social protection because it guarantees access to goods and services. It provides income security for children, and for people who aren't able to earn enough income, and the basic income for the elderly people. Social protection is one of the end goals in my concept mapped because I feel like it's a protection that we need in our society, and is part of being a human right. The last term I will be going over today is social justice. Social justice is very important because it's the idea that all people, regardless of gender, religion, race, etc., should have the access to the same rights and resources. Social justice is the goal that we aim for in my concept map, the end goal. As a society, especially here in the United States, there is a lot of social justice that isn't served for most members in our community. That is why social justice was my end goal in my concept map. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.